Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Yonhap News Agency reports that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un recently oversaw a ground test of a newly upgraded high-thrust solid-fuel missile engine, according to state media. The engine, constructed with composite carbon fiber material, achieved a maximum thrust of 2,500 kilonewtons. Kim stated that this test is a crucial component of North Korea's 5-year plan to enhance its strategic strike capabilities, marking a significant phase of change in the building of the strategic forces. This represents a substantial increase from the required 971 kilonewtons recorded during the last such test in September of the previous year. Experts believe this engine is intended for North Korea's developing Hwasong-20 intercontinental ballistic missile. Kim emphasized the test's great significance in elevating the country's strategic military capabilities to the highest level, aligning with national strategy and military demands for modernizing strategic forces. Furthermore, the KCNA reported that Kim also inspected a separate test evaluating the performance of new main battle tanks and visited a special operations training base under the Korean People's Army General Staff. Jong-un reports that Yemen's Houthi group claimed a ballistic missile attack on Israeli military sites on Saturday, marking their first such strike since large-scale attacks against Iran began on February 28. This move signifies the Houthis' direct military intervention in support of Iran and regional resistance fronts, potentially shaping the trajectory of the ongoing U.S.-Israel-Iran conflict. The article highlights the Houthis' cards for supporting Iran, including direct attacks on Israel, using various missiles and drones which have previously caused some damage despite interceptions. Another key strategy is the potential blockade of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a vital shipping lane, which could severely disrupt global energy markets, especially if the Strait of Hormuz is also affected. Lastly, the Houthis could potentially strike U.S. military bases in the Middle East due to their geographical proximity, though this carries significant risks of regional backlash and broader conflict, as cautioned by analyst Salah Ali Salah. Al Jazeera reports that Pakistan has successfully negotiated a deal with Iran to permit 20 Pakistani-flagged vessels to traverse the Strait of Hormuz, with 2 ships scheduled to cross daily. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar hailed this as a welcome and constructive gesture and a harbinger of peace, signaling broader diplomatic efforts to stabilize the region. The strait has been largely inaccessible since February 28, following coordinated U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran that reportedly killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Approximately 2,000 Iranians and over 1,100 people in Lebanon. These events have triggered a severe energy crisis, with oil prices soaring past $100 a barrel, a 40% increase. The strait, described as the aortic valve of globalized production, has seen maritime traffic plummet by 90%, leaving thousands of vessels stranded. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has been operating a checkpoint, charging up to $2 million per crossing, settled in Chinese yuan. Iran's parliament is moving to legalize this toll collection. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim also announced that Malaysian ships received permission to cross. The head of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, noted global trade is experiencing its worst disruptions in the past 80 years. Pakistan's intense diplomatic week included talks between its army chief and U.S. President Donald Trump, as well as calls between Dar and his Iranian and Turkish counterparts, highlighting Islamabad's role as a potential mediator. Iran continues to demand international recognition of its authority over the strait as a condition to end the conflict. UPI reports that Nepal's former Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, was arrested on Saturday in connection with crackdowns during protests last year, where more than 70 people were shot by police. Former Home Minister Ramesh Lekak was also taken into custody for the government's response to the Gen Z protests. These demonstrations began in September 2025 over social media bans and quickly expanded to include grievances about government corruption and a struggling economy. Oli's administration deployed the Nepali army and used brutal tactics, leading to his resignation. The current government, led by Prime Minister Balendra Shah, is pursuing accountability for these events. New Home Minister Sudan Grung stated that the arrests are not acts of revenge, but just the beginning of justice. A government panel had investigated the protests and recommended that Oli, Lekak, and other officials face trial for their roles in the deaths. The report noted that while there was no direct order to fire, the officials' negligent conduct resulted in fatalities, including minors. If convicted, the men face up to 10 years in prison. A recent vote in the UN General Assembly regarding historical accountability for transatlantic slave trade has revealed deep divisions among nations. The resolution passed with an overwhelming 123 votes in favor, with only 3 countries, the United States, Israel, and Argentina, casting opposition votes. A notable 52 countries, including major developed nations like the UK, France, Germany, and Japan, chose to abstain. This move is interpreted by the article from NetEase as a calculated avoidance, where these countries lacked the courage to openly deny history, but also the resolve to face the financial, judicial, and political consequences of full acknowledgement. The article emphasizes that the 123 yes votes, supported by countries such as China, Russia, India, Brazil, and South Korea, signal a growing global consensus that colonial and enslavement histories are structural issues that continue to shape the international order. This shift in narrative environment is seen as potentially influencing other geopolitical issues, such as the ongoing Middle East conflicts, by fostering a structural understanding for nations like Iran. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.